Hello and welcome to On the Wrist. Today I'm very excited to bring you a review of the Sportline model from the Waldan Watches Heritage Collection. Now why I'm so excited is that this watch, and Waldan in general, is trying to bring watchmaking back to the US. Being from the US, I've always been interested in watch manufacturing in the USA. The US has a real history in watchmaking in the late 1800s to mid 1900s, but through the quartz crisis and a couple other things, brands like Hamilton, Elgin, or Gruen either stopped to exist completely or were bought by Swiss conglomerates. So seeing a revival of American watchmaking really excites me, and I had to find out more. Waldan is making a concerted effort to bring back watchmaking to the US by assembling and testing each watch individually in the USA, as well as using the Ameriquartz American-made quartz movement. We'll dive into the technical specs first, and then we'll get to why this watch exemplifies American watchmaking. Let's get right into it. The technical specs should be pulling up on the left. The case diameter is 40 millimeters, great size. Thickness, 8.6 millimeters, very thin. Lug width of 20 millimeters. Case 316 stainless steel, a sapphire crystal, and a sub-dial seconds hand. Now the movement is the Ameriquartz 70200, which is a fully serviceable movement with a 5-year warranty. One thing I want to note is pay attention to that second sub-dial as it goes around. You'll notice the second hand pretty much nails those 5-second marks on the dot the entire way around the dial. That's a nice point of attention to detail that Waldan has put into these watches, and you don't see it with a lot of quartz watches. Those green points around the dial are lume, and there's a little bit of lume on the hands, as you can see here. Not incredibly bright, but it is there. The case back is a nice polished case back with the Waldan logo, 5 ATMs of water resistance, and the strap is a genuine leather, handmade and in Italy. Let's take a look at some of the finer details of the dial. On the Sportline model, you can see there's those nice CNC lines across the face. Really beautiful pattern. This is the Sportline series, so it's supposed to be sportier, but obviously it can still be a formal piece, easy to fit under any dress cuff, and it does have a very sharp professional look. On the silver model, I love that the seconds hand is a nice blue color. The pairing of the gray strap and the blue seconds hand really makes it pop. It's some fun color, and honestly, you don't see this color strap very often, and it's one of the main things that drew me to this visually first. That in addition to the dial pattern. And if we look at the black dial, very sharp looking dial, hard to capture in the right light on camera. A little more formal with the black strap, black dial, but same design, excellent execution, and I think the green on the black actually makes it even more legible and adds to the overall look. The case shape is also something I want to highlight. You can see on these lugs, they're not just smooth lugs. They have this additional feature here coming out that adds to the unique shape of the case, and it's something that it's a unique feature. It's something that sets this aside from other similar watches in a similar price range or similar design category. And it's nice how these lugs, instead of going for a smooth transition, it's a little bit more abrupt. It's something that catches your eye, and I just like the look. I like the look of this extra material here in addition to the multiple layers coming up to the crystal. Really nice job. I think it's a very handsome watch. But one thing that really does it for me is that Ameriquartz USA movement. As I mentioned at the start of the video, all of these watches are hand assembled and tested in the US. When paired with the Ameriquartz movement, it really makes an American watch. Andrew Waldan, the owner of Waldan Watches, is doing this and refocusing the Waldan brand onto American watchmaking to honor the American dream lived by his father, Oscar Waldan. Oscar Waldan is an incredibly impressive man. I highly recommend you go to the link in the description and read his full story on the Waldan website. Just to pick out a few highlights, he learned watchmaking while he was a prisoner in a World War II concentration camp. He came to the US, founded his own watch brand during the quartz watch crisis, and worked with some of the greats like Gerald Genta sold watches to Tiffany & Co., Tourneau, Neiman Marcus, and made a name for himself in the US. Andrew is honoring that legacy with the new focus on American watchmaking. Let's get a couple shots on the wrist. Here we have the silver dial on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. Really loving the 40mm size, really nice. Will fit under any dress cuff easily, and I just love the look. I love this gray strap. It's not something you see very often, and that with a little flare of color in the second subdial with the blue really makes it pop. I like the look. The horizontal lines, great feature. Overall, very attractive watch, fits nicely. And one thing that was also nice is the strap was very easy to break in. I've only worn this a handful of times, but the strap is already very comfortable, and it's not like some straps where they're incredibly stiff out of the box, so that was nice to find. Let's look at the black. Here we have the black. I'm holding it at a bit of an angle to really show how attractive this watch is. With the indoor lighting, it's a little hard to capture, but trust me, this looks excellent. I really like the green lume. It really adds a flare of color, making the watch pop, adding to the sportiness of the watch. With the black strap on the black dial, it is certainly formal, and that K shape really shows, making it an attractive watch to look at. MSRP and value. MSRP of this watch is $299. For that cost, what are you getting? You're getting a Ameriquartz movement, sapphire crystal, and some really strong style. I think for $299, the specs are there. Normally, I would personally prefer automatics in that price range. However, because this is the Ameriquartz movement and it is assembled and tested in the US, that to me is a lot of additional value. I assign a lot of worth to that part. For me, I think the value is right there. I think that is a well-priced watch. The style is there. It feels quality when you handle it. And the fact that it's using an Ameriquartz movement and it's a step towards American watchmaking again, it's a home run for me. The only thing I would really knock them on is using Italian leather. I feel like there must be a US source for leather for straps for watches. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like that was a missed opportunity and could have been something that was added to this watch to really drive home the American watch making. Hopefully, as Waldan continues making more watches, they switch to all American components and eventually go on to do an automatic movement. However, this is an excellent first step. I think it's well priced and the look is there. And for $300, I see the value. So a wholehearted endorsement from me, but I want to know what you think. Do you like the look of this watch? Is there anything more you'd want to see for the price point? Do you value American watchmaking? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. That's all from me today. This has been On The Wrist. Thank you for watching.